beginning of show while listening to Neil Young's After the Gold Rush. It is a brutal world. More than ever, tragedy, violence, mayhem, and injustice seem to be the order of the day. It's almost impossible to enjoy with a clean conscience whatever little piece of tranquility you've carved out for yourself, while abject misery and suffering is all over the world like phony on Kathy Lee Gifford. You know, we have... We have the unrealistic expectation that unless every nanosecond of our life is spent in multi-orgasmic joy, we're being ripped off worse than the Von Trapp family in a New York City taxi from JFK into Manhattan. The quest for happiness is a metaphysical game of three-card Monty, and we are both the sucker and the shill. We know we'll never find the red card, but a little voice inside of us makes us keep throwing down 20s. Listen up, guys and gals. You may never be any happier than you are right now. You may be richer or better sexed or more powerful, but you may never be any happier. Our entire existence is spent yearning for what we don't have. And we're convinced that whatever it is we're missing is the one thing that keeps us from perfect bliss, transcendence, nirvana, satori, whatever term your particular ideological affiliation uses for the state in which life truly resembles a light beer commercial. What makes people happy anyway? I've come to the conclusion that most people are only really happy not when something good happens to them, but when something bad doesn't happen to them. Remember how good you felt when your neighbor's house got struck by lightning because he got the new satellite dish? Well, we could go round and round on this all night, but that would fly in the face of what I've been trying to say all along. Happiness doesn't always require resolution, but rather an in-the-moment, carefree acceptance of the fact that the worst day of being alive is much better than the best day of being dead. And personally, I've never been happier than this precise moment, because just before we went on tonight, I found out that an extensive 2-week investigation by the federal government revealed no violations of child labor laws in the production of my new line of Dennis Miller activewear. You are gonna love my new sports bra. Hey, happiness is not settling for less, but just not being miserable with what is. I've always lived by the creed, it's not the approval or accolades or possessions that make you smile, but just getting to make the left turn even though you were the third car in the intersection. I myself have learned to love the simple things. Nothing makes me happier than coming upstairs and finding my wife sound asleep in bed with our 2 children, covering them with Grandma's quilt, going downstairs to make sure all the doors are locked, stepping out onto my wood deck to a clear summer night with every star blazing brilliantly through a balmy breeze, while I contemplatively run through my head a mental list of anyone who was ever a cast member on Saturday Night Live and try to figure out how their career is going compared to mine. Thank you. Now that makes me happy. Of course, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I want to know what you think, America. Give me a call at 1-800-LACTOSE. My guest tonight puts the premium in cable. He is the star of the always hysterical Larry Sanders Show. If you've been watching this week's, HBO's been running a bunch of these back to back, and I'm telling you, this is, you know, whenever I hear that breakthrough show shit, I don't often put much credence in it, but my friend Jerry Seinfeld's had something, but I think the realest show in the history of television, and sometimes it's so real it makes me uncomfortable, but it is true genius. Please welcome the creator of that show, Gary Shandling, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a really nice compliment.
The show's staggering.
They're running it like 2 shows every night, and then after the show tonight, your show, they're running 8 of them. So that's what makes me happy. I get to go home and I just sit and watch myself. And that's really, and then when my show isn't on, I just look in a mirror.
Well, that's...
And then I wait until my show's on again, and then I watch TV.
I think
That's all I do.
Shandling Palooza.
Yeah. I just sit home and...
Now tell me, is the show coming back, though? I mean, I know that you're on a bit of a hiatus right now, right?
Yeah, the show, we're shooting new shows starting in August, and they'll be on roughly, I have to edit them in a year and a half from then.
They have to send them for Japan to have the animation put in. And
Right.
Now,
We should start doing that probably. That would be real breakthrough. But you like the real aspect, so we'll stay away from the animation. You just said you like it to be real.
I know.
I didn't understand a lot of your monologue. I don't get some of the references. But you know that I otherwise
Love the
very
show.
Funny.
Except the...
I just feel stupid sometimes. And I don't like people who make me feel stupid. All I ask is I'm watching a little television. It's supposed to make me feel smarter. Your show makes me feel dumber.
And
I don't need that. I've got real life for that. That's why, honestly, I don't watch every week, because I feel like an idiot.
see? This is the best sort of guest. You say hi, and it's fucking drum solo from In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. Now, let me ask you this.
I didn't know you were going to talk. I've never seen the show. I thought it was all about me. I wish they'd run a Larry Sanders episode now. No, you know I'm thrilled to be here. I don't know why I'm on. What's the topic?
Happiness. Man's pursuit of happiness.
Yes, I think it's the you have to enjoy the journey, not the destination. That's according to my travel agent.
The journey didn't always go through Atlanta. It might be that easy.
Yeah.
Now, has the success here, for instance, what do you derive true happiness? Now, I know you to be a pretty metaphysical guy, and I can't imagine that the success of your show, which is huge, has changed you that much. Do you feel like you're about the same amount happy as you were before all this Larry Sanders stuff hit?
I would say literally I'm about the same amount happy as I was always. It's a struggle for me. I have very depressing times, and yet people think because you're famous that you would feel, and I don't consider myself, if someone said, how's it feel to be famous? I mean, you know, I don't want to break this to you, but we're on cable. So it's not like, you know, it's not like, seriously. It's like people go, wow, can you go out? I go, well, no, but not because of that.
Right.
So I don't go. I haven't left my house literally in 6 months because I read a book that said happiness comes from the inside, so I've just been staying in. So, but it doesn't work. I'm miserable. You got to get out. That's my tip. It doesn't come from inside. It comes, I think, from getting out and doing
Right. The juxtaposition of inside and
You may want to
outside.
stay inside if you're not me. So, you don't want to be in. I actually once wrote a suicide note that said, I'm not mad at anyone. This is just something I wanted to do for myself. Because,
How George Sanders of you.
yeah, I had to, I don't get it. So I had to,
George Sanders.
I only know Larry
You know,
Sanders.
George.
I only know television references.
okay.
I swear to God.
George Sanders is the guy who killed himself and left that suicide note that
What did
said,
it say?
I'm not unhappy, I'm not displeased, I'm not despondent, I'm just bored.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm just biding time. So,
Now? Were you a happy kid?
I was introduced to, I think I was a really happy kid. I had a kid, when I was in English, in grammar school, in 6th grade in my English class, there was a kid who committed suicide. What, so how old are you, roughly? Seriously, it's weird.
What, are
It was
you
like
kidding
10
me?
No.
Committed suicide
Yeah,
in
and he
sixth
sat,
grade?
and honest to God, and he sat next to me, and he killed himself, and it was the day after the seating plan was announced. And that might have been a coincidence. You know, I am just a fucking comic. When you get down to it,
I was
I'm
thinking
just
this
here.
was the grimmest story I've ever heard. Because I
Okay.
was going to say, what, he OD on paste? But then I thought, no, you can't say that.
Now, I will tell you a true story to put it all in perspective. And this is absolutely true. I was coming off my set one day, and I was walking across the lot, and a woman who was an animal trainer had 3 dogs with her. And I said, hey, can I play with those dogs? And she said, sure. And I said, wow, they're really happy. And she said, yes, they just had a good rehearsal. I swear to